Starting from April 9th, China experienced another sandstorm. In just 2 days, the apocalyptic scene of yellow sand covered the sky from Inner Mongolia to Beijing and Shandong, moving southward across the Yangtze River to Jiangsu and Shanghai. The sandstorm also affected the northwest and northeast region of China. This unprecedented sandstorm affected 18 provinces and cities in China, impacting more than 400 million people. It not only caused half of China to succumb, but even spread across the sea to Japan and South Korea. This is the 8th sandstorm this year. According to China National Meteorological Center, the sandstorm will last until April 16th. Videos circulating on the internet show that on April 10th, Inner Mongolia reached the level of a severe sandstorm. Yellow sand filled the sky, with the most severe situation in the Ulanlab area of Dorbod Banner, where the sky turned orange-red. Most part of the region experienced strong sandstorm weather with visibility less than 500 meters, and the minimum visibility was less than 50 meters. On the evening of April 10th, Beijing was shrouded in yellow sand with visibility in some area less than 100 meters. According to mainland media reports, local gusts of Beijing reached level 8 to 9, accompanied by sand and dust. Due to the sandstorm, the local air quality index reached 500, a severe pollution level, with PM10 as a primary pollutant. Beijing residents said that after the sandstorm hit, they could taste the thick dust outside, even when wearing the thicker N94 masks. On the morning of April 11th, the National Meteorological Center issued a blue warning of sandstorms. The sand and dust pollution belt moved southwards toward the cold air, continuing to affect the Yangtze River Delta, including Zhejiang, Jiangsu, and Shanghai. According to data from the China Meteorological Administration's Meteorological Detection Center, on the afternoon of April 11th, the PM10 concentration in many southern regions exceeded 1,000 micrograms per cubic meter. On the night of April 11th, Shanghai experienced severe air pollution with increased particulate matter concentrations in the air. On the morning of the 12th, Shanghai's air quality reached severe pollution levels with sand-laden weather and the entire city shrouded by a gray haze. In addition, most of the northern eastern region was also affected by the sandstorm. At 3 p.m. on April 11th, the average hourly PM10 concentrations in Shenyang city of Liaoning province and Changchun city of Jilin province had exceeded 500 micrograms per cubic meter. The National Meteorological Administration predicts that from April 13th to the 16th, the northwest and north central regions will still experience sandy weather. From the night of the 13th to the 14th, sand and dust weather will once again affect Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, and other places. Some people said online, wearing a mask can't block the feeling of eating dirt. The topic Beijing sandstorm became trending on Weibo's hot search list, with at least several million messages. While the public collectively complained about the impact of the sandstorm, Gui Hailing, the chief forecaster of the China National Meteorological Center, surprisingly stated that the sandstorms actually have both disadvantages and advantages. According to a report by mainland media outlet The Paper, Gui Hailing stated during a meeting that the current strategy for sand control is to adopt a scientific attitude. Given that the affected areas have sparse rainfall, it is appropriate to embrace the sand when appropriate. Furthermore, he pointed out that sand and dust can actually be beneficial to the ecological environment. In response, netizens left comments such as, "What benefits? Let me know," and even sarcastically said, "Do the benefits of sandstorm include making sure foreign satellites can't see us clearly?" In addition, according to Japanese media Asahi Shimbun, on April 12th, the sandstorm from China has drifted to Japan. Around 6 a.m. on the 12th, the sandstorm reached Hokkaido and the Sea of Japan coast in western Japan, gradually spreading across the islands of Japan. The air quality in Hokkaido was visibly poor, and a thin layer of yellow sand covering cars. Visibility in the Kyushu region also significantly decreased. Tokyo observed yellow sand on April 13th, the first time in 16 years. The Japan Meteorological Agency warns not only the Sea of Japan side, but also the Pacific side may be affected by drifting sand and dust. The Chinese sandstorm also drifted into South Korea. On April 11th, the South Korean Ministry of Environment issued a cautionary level sand and dust crisis warning to 70 cities nationwide after the PM10 concentration reached a very poor level at 1 p.m. on the 12th. The national average PM10 concentration in South Korea exceeded 277 micrograms per cubic meter, with Jeju Island PM10 concentration reaching 828 micrograms per cubic meter, meeting the extremely poor PM10 concentration standard. Sandstorms occur almost every spring in China, but according to official information from the Chinese government, tree planting and sand control projects began in China as early as the 1970s. The Great Green Wall, also known as the Three-North Shelterbelt Program, was launched in 1978 with a plan to build, in 73 years, a windbreak afforestation belt that is 4,480 kilometers long from east to west and 560 to 1,460 kilometers wide from north to south. The Three-North region covers the northeast, north central, and northwest areas of China, accounting for 42.4% of China's total land area. The goal is to increase forest coverage in northern China by 5% to 15%. Subsequently, in 2001, the Beijing-Tianjin Sand Source Control Project also started. However, this 45-year multi-billion-dollar project was not achieved the expected results. Statistical data show that from the late 1950s to the mid-1970s, the average rate of land desertification in China was 1,560 square kilometers per year. From the mid-1970s to the late 1980s, it accelerated to 2,100 square kilometers per year. And after entering into the 1990s, it almost doubled, reaching 2,460 square kilometers per year. According to the data we can find, in 2019, the China National Forestry Administration stated that 2.61 million square kilometers of soil in China have been classified as desertifying soil. This accounts for 27.2% of China's total land area, distributed in 828 counties across 18 provinces, autonomous regions, and municipalities, directly affecting about 400 million people. The direct economic loss caused by land desertification exceeds 54 billion yuan every year. There are many causes of sandstorms, but the main reasons are due to the increase in population and poor management, resulting in extensive land reclamation, overgrazing of grassland, and human destruction of natural vegetation. This leads to a decrease in grassland area and land desertification. When strong winds occur, they can create sandstorms that pose a threat to social and economic stability, as well as endangering lives and health. Relying on afforestation can block sand, but it cannot fundamentally solve the problem of desertification. Moreover, many experts have pointed out that it is not suitable for plant trees on a large scale in northern China. Zhang Gaoming, a famous ecologist at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, said on his personal blog, "We call it afforestation, which means that in places where there were no forest, or at least no forest in the last few thousand years, humans have planted forests. These areas have an annual precipitation of less than 381 millimeters, with natural vegetation consisting of grasslands or desert." He also pointed out that planting trees on arid or semi-arid land violates the ecological laws. The goal of increasing the tree coverage area in northern China to 15% is an unattainable fantasy. According to a research report by Karen Bennett from the World Resource Institute, there are countless examples of afforestation failures in northern China, one of which is the well-known case in Minqi County, Jiangsu Province. The desert area receives only 113.2 millimeters of precipitation per year. Over the past decades, a planting area of 53,000 hectares have been established, with a quarter of the trees withered and dead, and the remaining trees are low shrubs that have no ability to protect the soil. Bennett's research shows that even worse, due to the tree planting and irrigation in the Minqi area, which used more water resources, the groundwater level in the region has dropped by 12 to 19 meters. Research shows that the success of afforestation is limited to certain specific areas, and large-scale afforestation will cause the continuous intensification of land degradation in arid regions. The cost of artificial afforestation is high and the survival rate is low. Journalists have reported that the investment requirement for afforestation per hectare varies from 2,250 to 15,000 yuan, about 330 to 2,200 US dollars, depending on the arid conditions in the region. This does not include the cost of replanting or dead trees after the first planting. Cao Shixiong from China Agricultural University estimates that since 1949, only 15% of all trees planted in arid areas have survived. As a result, experts are calling for a different approach to combat desertification. Instead of planting trees, they suggest restoring sandy areas to their original grassland state. However, under the governance of the Chinese Communist Party, this situation is difficult to change. Dr. Wang Weiluo, a renowned water resource expert, recently told New Tang Dynasty TV in an interview that one of the origins of sandstorms is Inner Mongolia, China, where the local Mongolian people were originally nomadic. They migrated in line with the growth of water and grass, allowing the grasslands to rest and recover. However, after the Chinese Communist Party came into power, in order to facilitate control of the local population, they preferred that these people settle down. After the herders settled down, each person was allocated a piece of grassland for grazing, which inevitably led to the problem of overgrazing. At present, all the grasslands around these settlements are in disarray, and even the grassroots have been eaten by cattle and sheep. Moreover, after the herders settled down, some transformed grasslands into farmlands or forests, which changed the original ecological environment. In addition, the Chinese government proposed a Western development strategy in 1999. A large number of local mines, oil fields, and factories were established and constructed, causing damage to the local ecological environment and issues with water source competition. Recently, a video went viral online. Sun Guoyou, an owner of a forest farm in Matanjie, town of Lingwu City in Ningxia, knelt down and wept, complaining that he had planted trees to control sand for more than 20 years, but because of the nearby coal mine failed to provide water as promised, the 10,000-acre forest farm had no water and many trees died. These images have elicited widespread sympathy and support from the public. According to media reports, 64-year-old Sun Guoyou is from Sichuan and was previously a businessman. Around 2003, he was determined to devote himself to the sand control project in his wife's hometown in Ningxia. He contracted an area of 10,000 acres of barren sandy beach in Majiatan town, paying out of his own pocket to level the sand, level the land, dig ditches, and plant trees. He gradually became well known and was reported by the Chinese Communist Party's official media several times, earning the title of Sand Control and Afforestation Hero. However, after 2008, a large-scale coal mine called Shangma was built locally, destroying the water source of Sun Guoyou's forest farm. This year, the water company affiliated with the coal mine proposed to provide water, so Sun Guoyou planted 200,000 tree seedlings in advance, but the water company suddenly decided not to provide water temporarily, causing him to break down emotionally and collapse on the ground. Sun Guoyou's issue also reflected another problem, which is the instability of the Chinese government's policies. As we mentioned in previous videos, China has been implementing a returning farmland to forest project in recent years, cutting down trees and converting them into farmland to address the potential food crisis. Multiple videos show a large number of trees being cut down, with slopes once covered with trees turning into terraced fields. Of course, we do not know how many protected forests have been destroyed in this way, but what we can see is that since 2018, the average frequency of intensity of sandstorms in northern China have been higher than the average from 2013 to 2017, showing a slight upward trend. Controlling sandstorms is a complex and challenging systematic project. Xue Xuan, the director of the Desert and Desertification Research Laboratory and a researcher at the Northwest Institute of Eco-Environment and Resources of Chinese Academy of Sciences, pointed out that deserts such as the Gobi are the natural, original landscapes of arid areas. Natural deserts do not require any measures of control. If control is necessary, it is usually advised to plant border forest, blocking the edges of sand dunes within 1 kilometer of several hundred meters. What needs to be managed are areas that were not originally deserts but have become desert-like due to human activities, which are truly desertified lands. Moreover, desertification control is not limited to planting trees, but rather implementing reasonable measures based on the water, soil resources, and climate conditions of different areas. In terms of restoration logic, it should be forest where forests are suitable and grasslands when grasslands are suitable, with human activities restricted within the range allowed by ecological carrying capacity. Only by respecting natural laws can we achieve sustainable prevention and control of desertification, effectively reducing the frequency and severity of sandstorms.